YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back on Overreaction Monday, recapping Sunday's Week 1 NFL action. Glad football's back. A lot we expected happened. Some surprising things. Some great play, some sloppy play. A lot to go over here. We'll be doing this video every single Monday, recapping Sunday football action. Plenty more videos throughout the week with all kinds of different predictions. Hopefully you can join us for that. We're here every single week. We got you covered. Patreon.com/thegoathouse. Link at the top of the description. You can get some bonus content. There's bonus videos, behind the scenes, bloopers, all that stuff. You can join our NFL Pick'ems League, even though you missed week 1. Still not too late to join. There's a prize involved in that. You can join our Discord chat, constant NFL discussion, fantasy discussion, college football discussion in there. So that's a great way to keep in contact with us and other fans. So check that out. Subscriber goals at 40K by the end of this year. This last week, we got so many subscribers, so we thank you very much. If you're a returning subscriber, you're a new subscriber, you know we got you covered. Plenty of NFL content here, but help us out if you haven't subscribed yet. Click notifications on. It'll be worth it. Like button, Twitter, check it out. Recapping every game as best I can here. And let's add this too. Hey, there I am. Thought this would be a perfect video to squeeze in. I just dropped my phone. What a great start. That's a great start to the week 1 recap here. I thought I fit right in there. A lot of space in there. But the Titans, 43-13. Wow. 43 points from the Tennessee Titans. That's surprising. Doesn't help the Browns case when you have 18 penalties for whatever amount of yards. Almost 150 yards is ridiculous. So basically my takeaway from this game is the Browns look, undisciplined. Got to blame the coaching for that. Freddie Kitchens, not a good start. It's only week 1, so we can calm down. Baker Mayfield threw 3 picks. Pretty bad, but at the same time, I've seen worse interceptions. Interception in terms of the quarterback, how he threw the ball. They weren't the worst throws. Needs to make better decisions. Obviously, it was a bad game from Baker, obviously. But what I'm trying to get to, great interceptions, great plays on the ball by the Titans defense. Logan Ryan was just all over the place. I think he had multiple sacks. And that kind of goes to the Browns offense line and blitz reading. They struggle with that. They struggle with that a little bit. No tackles. I talked about that in the offseason. Guard play, I can live with it. The one thing they forgot to draft and what I expect them to draft going forward is the tackle play. They really, they're unsure about those tackles there. So that's something they got to build up going forward, but it's only week 1. They could play better. Baker can play better. If you remember, prediction videos or going into this year, I talk about calm down the Browns a little bit because they will make some young mistakes still. And that's what happened here with really a lot of players. You had guys getting ejected, Greg Robinson getting ejected, throwing a punch. So undisciplined, a lot of penalties. Not a good look from the Browns in week 1, but it's just week 1. It's tough that it was at home too. But got to give credit to the Titans. Mainly their defense. This is a top-tier defense, I think, in the NFL. I was kind of going that way before this game, and I'm not basing it off this game. I'm kind of going with my original prediction. It's a good defense. People are sleeping on it. The Browns got off going early. The Titans recognized it. Vrabel and his defense, they recognized it. They adjusted. It's a good defense. I like to call it a lockdown defense most of the time because they just kind of make stops. They make big stops, but they got their hands on the ball, got some turnovers. They got pressure on Baker, and the offense started getting going too. Mariota, he played his game. He didn't play, you can't say he played a great game, but he played a very good game. He got 43 points up on the board. Delaney Walker is his favorite target. He's back. That looked good. I told you guys that Delaney Walker was going to be one of the top tight ends this year because if he's healthy, he's really good. Derrick Henry started off a little slow, got me a little worried. He got going, and he really got going then. That slip screen that far kind of brings me back to the Browns. What I hated about the Browns was their tackling in the secondary. Not just their tackling, their angles, their pursuits. It almost looked like they didn't want to be involved in any of that. Greedy Williams got the start, and he was my number 1 corner, and I believe in him still. It's only week 1, but I've noticed a couple times where he just terrible angles to the ball, and we kind of saw that. That was kind of his weakness at LSU. He kind of didn't want to be a part of the tackling a lot. I thought he wanted to be a part of it in this game. It's just poor efforts, I guess I'd say. Poor angles, poor pursuits. So the Browns secondary was actually probably the worst part, except for them being undisciplined and the penalties kind of goes into that, and Baker Mayfield not having a great game. I think the secondary of the Browns, once the ball was in secondary territory, downfield, I should say, it was bad. It was bad. Bad tackling. They didn't want any part of it, it looked like. So But credit to the Titans, mainly their defense adjusting. Offense got going. Derrick Henry got going. Without Taylor Lewan, too. I was kind of picking the Titans the whole way, and then I switched my pick because, Taylor Lewan, I thought being out would be a big problem. I thought the Browns' pass rush would do. It was actually pretty solid. They got after Mariota. I thought it'd be a little better. That's kind of my takeaways from the Titans game. Titans beating the Browns. So next up, we got the Ravens at the Dolphins. I don't have much to say about this one. 59-10. It was a complete ass beating. Lamar Jackson was great. Hollywood Brown, I was surprised to see him play that good. Right when the draft ended, kind of going into training camp, I thought Hollywood Brown would be. That's realistic. That's what was going to happen. Not too much action going into training camp. Was kind of hurt. Didn't look too good in his limited action. But there he is. There's that guy we originally thought would, play at a high level right away. I mean, rookies in general, and Sunday's action was just fantastic. So, Hollywood Brown was great. Lamar Jackson was great. Even though he played a bad Dolphins defense, pretty good secondary, and even though some of those guys were wide open, it's hard enough to make those throws. It doesn't really matter if there's a guy on him, guy off him. Those throws are tough. Perfect balls downfield. Lamar Jackson looked great. They got multiple different receivers involved, not just Hollywood, Miles Boykin, Snead. Mark Andrews is their weapon. The Hayden Hurst pick kind of hurts a little more. I hated that pick at the time, and they could have used that. Another first rounder with Lamar Jackson, but team's still looking great. Defense looked good, kind of what you expect going against the Dolphins. Excited for this Ravens team. I want to see more. I want to see more. Love Lamar Jackson. I've been a Lamar Jackson supporter, so I love to see that. The Dolphins, it's rare to see an NFL team tank, and that's definitely what's going on here. Players asking for multiple players asking to be traded. I mean, some of them really aren't that great of players, maybe, so maybe that's why they're on the Dolphins in the first place. But guys I feel bad for guys like Xavier Howard, who I think is one of the best corners in football, and to be playing in this kind of atmosphere, it sucks, it sucks. But yeah, I don't know if he's one of the ones asking for a trade. I'm just saying guys like that, I feel bad for. They got some good young linebackers. Pass rush is non-existent, as expected. I predict them worst pass, as did everybody, worst pass rush in football. There was times where no chance Lamar Jackson could sit back there all day. There was times where I don't think they were even trying. I really don't. So it was a brutal one for the Dolphins. This is one of the worst teams I've ever seen. And I don't want to base too much off week one, but we're kind of just basing it off analyzing their roster, their team, and their attitude right now. It wouldn't shock me if they won one game or maybe even no games. Really excited to see the Ravens going forward, though. I really shouldn't be talking about this game more than I am. The Falcons and the Vikings. Watched every snap of this game, actually. 28-12 Vikings. Vikings dominated this game from the start, right from the start. I guess that's the positive thing about the Falcons. I'm not too worried about the Falcons. Some people may overreact, and if you watch the game, they weren't even close in this game. But I would slow down a little bit. I'm not too worried about the Falcons. They started off really bad. That block punt too. They started off really bad. I think that kind of set the tone. So if they just don't allow that to happen, which I think it happened because it's week one, they're playing a pretty good team. If they don't allow that to happen, they got the Eagles next week Sunday night, but they can get going. It could have been a different game, but at the same time, it's just it almost looked like at times there was no chance. Almost dropped my phone again. There we go. Got this here just in case I got to look up some stats. Not all about the stats, but it's here just in case I got to look it up. The Falcons couldn't get anything going on offense. That was the main thing here. The Vikings defense, excellent coverage. I thought Xavier Rhodes, it looked like it's only one game, but it looked like 2017 Xavier Rhodes absolutely locking down Julio Jones. He did come out of the game a couple times. I hate to see that. He's just got to stay healthy. But the Falcons couldn't get, they're supposed to have the best receiver unit in football. They couldn't get anybody open in the first half. They couldn't execute. But the main thing here, and the one thing I will take away from this game, but I'm kind of taking away from my original predictions, the Falcons' offensive line. I try to tell people this offensive line's a problem. People want to argue with me. And, yeah, I'm going to pat myself in the back on that one because I think this was the worst offensive line of the week. You look at the sacks, and they got 4 sacks. Could have been more. That's why people are hating on Matt Ryan for the 2 picks. Yeah, he shouldn't have thrown the 2 picks. But I actually thought he was pretty solid, and it could have been way worse. The Vikings were pressuring him every single play. I think one time he had time. One time. They were getting after him every play. I don't blame Matt Ryan too much. Maybe he shouldn't have thrown those balls on the picks. I think the second one was actually supposed to be thrown away out the end zone, but Danielle Hunter was coming at him right away, and he kind of just underthrew his ball that was supposed to be, out the end zone. So, and I think that ended up shorting it. Interception. Anthony Harris comes up with 2 picks. So the Vikings defense, the game plan was great. I'm worried about the Falcons offensive line. Even Danielle Hunter was double teamed all night, and he had an insane amount of pressure. So Anthony Barr was used as a pass rusher earlier. He had the first play of the game was a sack by Anthony Barr. And then to talk about the Vikings offense too, looks like it's only 1 week, but it looks like there's already a difference with adding Kubiak. He's supposed to be a genius in the run game, specifically the zone scheme. Outside zone, and they went from a gas scheme to an outside zone scheme, and they were able to run the ball outside very, very well. Dalvin Cook looked like that Dalvin Cook we've been expecting. Looked very fun. Seeing guys blocking downfield, seeing Irv Smith blocking downfield. That's also a concern about the Falcons. I thought in inside runs they were okay. Grady Jarrett was there. Outside runs, for guys to get blocked downfield by Irv Smith, that's really unacceptable, but it's only week 1, and yeah, I don't really know how else to say. The Vikings dominated this game. Dalvin Cook was good. The offensive line was good in run blocking. Pass blocking, I'm still a little concerned. The Vikings only threw the ball 10 times because that's all I needed to do. They did get a little conservative, let the Falcons come back a little bit. It was kind of garbage time, but I'd hate to see them let teams come back because of that in the future. So I guess that's one thing I didn't really like, but they still had a pretty comfy lead. It was 28-0 at one point. Running game was great. Even the backup Madison looked good. Josh Klein looked impressive run blocking. Pat Elflein was really a mess on the offensive line. Other than that, they looked pretty good. Still worried about pass protection. Can't really judge Kirk Cousins. He had a couple good throws under pressure, but he only threw the ball 10 times, only needed to. Thielen and Diggs showed up when they needed to. They didn't really need him to show up too much. I guess that's a good thing about the Vikings. Like, they didn't need to do all they can do. I guess that's the best takeaway. And I think the running game will be better. The defense looked really good. Anthony Harris with his 2 picks. Anthony Barr was outstanding. I don't think he's going to get enough credit for his game there. He was outstanding in that game. Harrison Smith, like always. Xavier Rhodes. The Falcons, Julio Jones, I'm surprised. I guess he had a minor injury. Maybe that's why. He really wasn't showing up. Really the receiver unit. Devontae Freeman, I thought he had a bad game. He's running into contact, had that fumble. Things like that, though. It's kind of almost a positive thing for going forward because the Falcons had these mistakes that I don't think they're going to make anymore, or I shouldn't say anymore, most weeks. So I think they could win games. They could win this game if they execute a little better. So that's my takeaway from that. Impressed with the Vikings running game and their defense. I was kind of expecting that from their defense, though. Next game was the Bills in the Jets, 17-16. And really my takeaway from this game is the Bills did not play their best game. Nowhere near it, mainly because their offense. I will give credit to their defense for stepping up down the line. It's a good defense as expected, but the offense was bad. It was good. I guess Josh Allen played okay down the stretch, but you look at this game, he had a pick 6 right off the bat, which right away I'm blaming Beasley, but it was a bad throw. But Beasley shouldn't. I don't know what happened exactly. He kind of went down to get it. Shouldn't have to go down to get it, but really, you're an NFL receiver. You should probably catch that, but the way what happened, that shouldn't happen. Right to C.J. Mosley, pick 6, 2 picks, 2 fumbles for Josh Allen. The Jets just cannot seem to get points on this board. This great Darnold Gase offense that I've been hearing about, Le'Veon Bell offense, just couldn't put up points up the board. Can credit the Bills defense, but I kind of blame Gase for that. I don't want to say I hate the play calling, but there was really no urgency. There really wasn't a drive, a push to go get the points and put this game away when you had the opportunity. So I blame Gase for that. Credit to the Bills defense. Like I said, I'm not trying to, say they had a terrible game offensively. When I say they have a terrible game, I mean, things didn't go right. They had two interceptions, 2 fumbles. Things didn't go right for them. Things didn't go right for the Jets. Either the new Vedvik, the new kicker, missed an extra point and a field goal, which they could have won the game off of. But, that's part of the game. But at home, I blame Gase for this one. The Bills, I tweet a lot during all of these games, some things I may forget in this recap, so I'd recommend following us on Twitter for during any NFL game. Even the small plays, I'll tweet out like actually big things that happen to make them, that more impactful than you think. Bills end up winning, but Darnold, the play where he was going back, scrambling backwards, escaping sacks, kept the play alive, credit to him, kind of threw the ball up for grabs. I kind of think he just lofted it up there, and Saron Neal was in the perfect position to just catch the ball, make a play on the ball. I have no idea what he was doing. He was like backpedaling the ball the whole time and just didn't make a play. I think he jumped somewhere in there, but I think he jumped way too early. I saw that, and I was like, get him off the field. Plays like that, just get him off the field. So I think the Bills, even though the Jets had other opportunities, the Bills had opportunities like that, and they made big-time mistakes. So I guess the negative would be, for the Bills, worried about Josh Allen. Is he going to continue to turn the ball over? I don't think he's going to have 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles every game, but yeah, he'll turn the ball over. But the positive is, I don't think he's going to have 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles every game. I don't think we're going to blow plays like the one I just explained, and we still won the game. Defense looks good, so a lot of positives for the Bills, even though it was messy. The bottom line is the Jets got to win that game. They get at home, not just because they're at home, but at home with all this stuff happening with the Bills. You got to win this game. You got to win this game. John Brown, I like that signing. People were really hyping the Cole Beasley one. I was more on the John Brown one. Felt like no one else was with me on that. It's only one game, so I'm not going to say I was right, but I'm sticking with that one. I like that signing a little better. Next game was Redskins and Eagles. Looks like the Redskins were going to blow them out right away. I was surprised by that. Keenum was balling. The offensive line was balling. Without Trent Williams, it looked really good. Keenum, the way he was able to step up in the pocket. If he's able to do that, he could throw. People sleep on Keenum a little bit. He can throw. Terry McLaurin looks like the receiver one. He was sensational in this game. Very impressive. I don't know what happened, though. I don't know what happened. The defense is what happened, and the Eagles' offense. Like I just said, the good things from the Redskins right off the bat, and the Eagles, their offense couldn't really get anything going, but at that time I wasn't worried about their offense. I wasn't worried about their offense. They couldn't really get anything going. The running game could be better. I guess that's I don't want to say a negative, but it's on something that could be better. That my thoughts were kind of my worries were with the defense. They could not tackle that. Vernon Davis play should not happen. Great play by him. That was fantastic. That should not happen. Secondary tackling, linebacker unit 2. That's a problem. D-line, I like. The tackling, once the ball gets downfield, is a big problem. It looked worse in the first half, though, in the second half, but keep in mind which offense you're playing here. You still get up 27 points. It is week 1. But worried about the tackling in the secondary. I think you can throw on the secondary, too. I know you can, but Rasul Douglas, a young guy that I was kind of hoping would get better. I didn't like the game from him. I don't know if I like their secondary in general. They got some guys got some upside. Malcolm Jenkins obviously good. But that's my thoughts of the first half. The second part of the game here, Carson Wentz was, yes, that's the Carson Wentz we want. That's the guy we want. There we go. Alshon Jeffrey, Deshaun Jackson, 2 bombs that were just about 50 yards of Deshaun Jackson, just beautiful. And Alshon Jeffrey, the catches he makes, still makes it mind-blowing how he let that, the Saints game last year in the playoffs. I don't need to bring that back up, but I just did. But yeah, that second half Eagles offense is what gets me excited about this team. Offensive line was good. I just want to see them stay healthy. I'm still a little bit worried about the secondary tackling. The Redskins, I don't know I don't know who to put the blame on for this comeback. It was more just the Eagles were good. They were really good. Like I said, there's some other games I talked about, other games that I will talk about that I don't know if the team was like that good while they were playing good, or if the team was just that bad. Like I don't think the Redskins were like that bad down the stretch. I think the Eagles were just that good. I think they were that good offensively. The Redskins defense I thought would play a little better. They do have a problem in the secondary, I think, as well. Norman seemed lost at times. They need some better coverage guys there. Ryan Anderson I was a little disappointed on. There was a goal line play that they gave it to Sproles. I think it was second half, and Ryan Anderson had the ability to come up and hit Sproles, and I think he panicked. It was a very bad play. I was tweeting about that one too. I think he was afraid that Sproles would juke him out, and he didn't attack, and he kind of did get juked out too. It was kind of just he wanted to play it safe, but then didn't end up executing at the end. I really don't know how to explain it. It's just it was a bad play. You have to go make the play. He didn't want to go make the play. That's what I make of it, and that's why I think it was a bad play. So I think plays like that for the defense, Jonathan Allen come out of the game, I think hurt them. I wish their pass rush was a little better. I expect it to be better down the stretch. We'll see. It's just week 1, but hell of a comeback for I just give the credit really to the Eagles. It sucks if you're a Redskins fan, but I don't really want to blame the Redskins completely. I think the Eagles were just that good down the stretch. I just, hopefully their defense can step up. Next game was the Rams and the Panthers. Not much on this game either for me. It was just the Rams. I mean, kind of going back to who we were talking about, the Vikings, the Vikings didn't need to do that much on offense, passing-wise, I should say, to win their game, which was impressive. I can say the same thing about the Rams. Like, they could have done so much more in this game, and they didn't really need to, but at the same time, it was kind of a close game, so it was weird. It was a weird game. Goff, I didn't think played his best game. A couple throws that were a little behind receivers. Brandon Cooks really wasn't showing up all that much, kind of Woods mainly. Gurley was limited, kind of expected that to happen, kind of predicted that to happen. Only week 1, I want to see more to see if I'm right. But something that I was wrong about was that I thought Darrell Henderson would get the ball a little more because of that limitation of Todd Gurley, and Darrell Henderson would have got the ball one time, and Malcolm Brown looked good. They liked themselves some Malcolm Brown. So I think the good news is the offense could do more. The bad news is, why didn't you give it more when it was somewhat close? I know maybe they felt a little more comfortable and it looked a little more comfortable than the final score says, 30-27. But yeah, I wish they could put them away. The defense, to me, this was a weird game. I don't know why. It's just like the Panthers. Cam still doesn't look the same to me. I mean, he's got more arm strength. You can see that at the end of last year for sure. Just still didn't look the same. Offensive line wasn't maybe as bad as I thought. They were giving him some pressure. It still needs to be better. The Rams offensive line impressed me, but they're playing the Panthers pass rush. But this is another. The Panthers pass rush has to get better. It's not there yet. I like the Brian Burns draft pick. It's not there yet. They need to. Bottom line is here, you need to get more pressure in this game. You need to get pressure on Goff. Young, new offensive lineman in there, along with an older veteran, Whitworth. Not that he's not good. He's very good. No more Sullivan, no more Saffold. You need to get pressure. And this was kind of what it's only week 1. Like I'm going to keep saying it. So we need to learn more. But I kind of been saying the Panthers pass rush I thought would be a little disappointing this year. This is a game where to win this game, you absolutely have to get the pressure. They didn't get it. It's a weird game, though, because I thought the Rams could have done more, and they didn't. But it's almost like, why didn't they do it? The defense seemed good for the most part, but then they're kind of letting them back in. McCaffrey, dominant, absolutely dominant. I feel bad for the guy because, I mean, it kind of shows that the Panthers need more receivers, too, because McCaffrey leading in receiving yards. He's leading in, obviously, leading in rushing, but dominant player. I still don't think Cam's 100%. Definitely closer to 100% than he was at the end of last year. Kind of my takeaway. Eric Weddle was gashed in the head. That was a little scary. And Taylor Rapp came in. I like to see Taylor Rapp, though. Corey Littleton. I'm going to forget people during this whole thing. Corey Little, almost forgot. Thank God I remember him. Corey Littleton had himself a ball game. This guy comes out of nowhere last year, and he can play. He's getting better. Can tackle. I think he forced a fumble. He's all over the place. And the Rams, going into last year, I'm like, the problem with this team is they have nothing in the middle there, nothing at linebacker, and they've somehow found a guy. Corey Littleton can play. I thought he was the best player on the field in this game. Never mind. Christian McCaffrey was. I thought for the Rams, I really thought Corey Littleton was. Very impressive. Very impressive where he's heading. Next game. Let's move on to the next game. Don't want to let this drag on. Chiefs, Jags. Lots of players hurt in this game. Kind of what I expect. Not lots of players hurt, but kind of what I expected in terms of the outcome. I thought the Chiefs would do this. 40 points up on the board. They win 40-26. I was surprised how little they were favored by. Just went out and execute. May have been different if Foles didn't get hurt, so I guess I shouldn't say all that. But great ball by Foles and gets hurt. I thought it was a little late hit there. It was a beautiful ball. That was a beautiful ball there too. It's very unfortunate. Gardner Minshew looked good though. A lot of shorter passes, underneath stuff. So I mean, his completion percentage should be high by that, but that doesn't mean it wasn't, impressive. So was impressed by that. Myles Jack, that whole situation was weird. I guess he should have been ejected, but he was trying to go back at somebody when they were taking him off the field. The problem here is what I was saying all offseason. The Jags have nothing in there. They have a good defense, but why isn't it the best defense? And where will they be hurt? They have nothing in the middle of the field. The defensive tackles aren't as good as they used to be. There's nothing in the middle on the D-line. The linebacker unit's bad. I know. And then Jack's their best guy. He's good. Comes out of the game. And I hated their safety play. The corners were the closest guys down the field in the middle to make some of those plays that you have to expect against the Chiefs. Safety play, a little bit of a mess. And, I say don't have any new takeaways. That's the key word, new takeaways after just week 1. Don't base anything off week 1. But this is kind of stuff that I predicted. Like I was thinking, and I thought about this team. I like the defense still because they have top-tier pass rushers, which I want to talk about in a second. And they have top-tier corners. And they have Myles Jack, but that's pretty much it. But that middle of the field, there's a lane that's wide open. I know they played the Chiefs. They played the best offense, but some other teams will find it. They traded for Dobbs actually earlier today. I like Dobbs, but he's going to turn the ball over. Minshew's going to be the guy. Fournette looks slow to me. It's a shame. He's never been a speed guy, but I was always high on Fournette. I shouldn't say slow. I mean, the burst, I feel like, wasn't there a lot. Especially on the outside plays. They may need another running back for the outside. I do like Fournette, though. I still like him. I still like the idea of him. It's a shame that Foles got hurt, though. So, but back to the pass rush of the Jags. I expected a little more. I know the Chiefs' offensive line's good. I know Mahomes is good under pressure. I know they're good at game planning around it. Expected more pressure, 0 sacks. Credit to the Chiefs' offensive line. I guess that's where we have to credit it. The Jags are going to win games. If they're going to win games defensively, it's because of the pressure. They couldn't get it. They have no chance this game. It's impressive they scored 26 points, obviously, with their quarterback in her. I guess that's the one good thing, but it's a bad day for Jags fans. I feel bad. Foles getting hurt. It's tough. I was surprised how involved McCoy was for the Chiefs. Sammy Watkins is one of the better players of the day, and I wouldn't expect more of that going forward, but now that Tyreek's out, I expect more of it. So I guess it's an unfortunate, even though it's a win, it's an unfortunate day for Chiefs fans too because of Tyreek Hill getting hurt. So, I mean, that's unfortunate. A little scary situation too. He got hurt. You can see he was holding on to his collarbone or that shoulder area. And then Jalen Ramsey kind of gave him a nudge, and he got back up and kind of wanted to push him and smack talk him a little bit, and then he kind of went back down. So, interesting situation. They're going to be missing Tyreek Hill for some time, but I'm not really worried. He's one of the better receivers, one of the most dynamic players in football, but I'm not really too worried about the Chiefs. So, it was a good win for them, but really a bad day for both teams in terms of injuries. Obviously, a very bad day. Next game was the Colts and the Chargers went to overtime. My takes from this game. Let's see. I did not like the Colts defense. A lot of missed tackles, a lot of terrible angles. That one where they had Eckler all wrapped up. First of all, they got to make the tackle, and there's a bunch of guys that kind of quit on the play. They thought, my teammate's going to make the tackle. I seen it a lot. I seen Malik Hooker doing the same thing, kind of standing around. I did not like that one bit, quitting on the play. I thought tackling and angles were pretty bad downfield for the Colts in this game. Coverage-wise, they were in coverage. I felt like they were there a lot. They got to make a play on the ball. There was that one Phillip Rivers, a great throw, Phillip Rivers to the goal line to Keenan Allen, and it's a great play, great catch, Keenan Allen for a touchdown. But somebody's got to make a play on the ball for the Colts there. Like the secondary, I like that they were there. Good coverage, just got to make a play on the ball. Got to make a better play on the ball. Malik Hooker made a great play on the ball with his one-handed catch. I wish tackling was a little better in secondary. The pass rush is pretty solid. I think, solid, good game for the Colts. But the pass protection for the Chargers, I never seen it. There's a couple teams this year that are like really good run blocking and then just bad pass blocking. But the Chargers, like the run blocking is top of the NFL. It might be the best. And the pass blocking, it's one of the worst. It's at the bottom. It's weird. It is weird. Never seen anything like. I've seen things close. A couple other teams kind of like that, but the chart, it's weird. Maybe they'll fix that, but it's something I can see continuing to happen because the Colts don't have the best pass rush in football, so that's got to be cleaned up a little bit. Run blocking, I mean, the holes, you can drive a truck through these holes, not to, you still got to give credit to Eckler and Justin Jackson. They did a great job. I like Justin Jackson running hard, but obviously Eckler's the better guy, hitting the hole real fast, quick, and juke, and actually break some tackles, catch the ball in the backfield. He was excellent in this game. I thought Phillip Rivers was pretty darn good for him getting hit, getting the pass rush. But that Chargers offensive line is weird. The Colts offensive line was great. Jacoby Brissett I thought was good. I don't want to say great. He was very close to great. He had a fan for, I guess, week one, maybe not really knowing you're going to start or not. Then it's a great game. He had some really good balls. He had a really, really good one to Ebron that it would have been a really good catch. But he had it and he lost it. The ball was loose, it's going out of bounds. I think they got the call right. I know they got the call right on that one. Unfortunate. That was a really, really good ball. He had a really good ball to Funchess. Funchess kind of lost control. It was a tough catch, so I'm not going to blame Funchess or Ebron for those. But it's just a great ball, Brissett. So he can, like I said, him out of NC State. I don't know if you remember, I hyped him a lot. I hyped him up a lot. I liked him out of NC State. And if you just looked at my predictions and you saw that I didn't think the Colts were going to do good, you might think it's because the offense, but my problem in my predictions videos before the season started was not the offense. I said Brissett. I didn't think he was doing anything great. I said he's going to continue to get better. I love Marlon Mack. Marlon Mack was one of my draft hits. As soon as I put on that tape, anybody was with us then, another one of my huge draft hits. I loved his tape at South Florida. and it's showing he's a darn good running back. He's on his way to being one of the best running backs in football, I think. But my problem was the Colts. I don't know if their defense is going to play as good as the end of last year. First half was pretty terrible. Second half was great. Which one are we going to get? I think we're going to get them sometimes. This game really wasn't there. I was surprised the Chargers didn't score more points. I think there was times where I'm like, all right, the Chargers are about to put them away. They're about to put them away finally. I just kept saying that. No, here's the Colts. All right, Chargers are going to put them away. And to talk about the Colts secondary tackling too, the Chargers, the same thing. They let T.Y. Hilton score. They let the 2-point conversion happen, all because of the poor tackling. I need to see more. In general, in all of these games, I want to see more gang tackling, from defense. Whatever happened to that. So, Brissett was impressive, though. Marlon Mack, I love me some Marlon Mack. Very impressive. So, that's my takeaways from that game. Overtime, good game. Loved the game. Chargers got to put that game away faster. They got to put the game away. Next game, Bengals and the Seahawks. I predicted this game 28-27, so I thought I was going to get it, but I did get the 1 point win for the Seahawks right. But I'll tell you what, the Bengals should have won this game. I think the Bengals should have won this game. It's their own fault they didn't win the game. The biggest play of the game was Andy Dalton let the ball slip out of his hands, and I think Al Woods came up with a good play there. That's the play of the game. They get no points out of that. They were knocking on the door, at least a field goal. Tough one. Dalton had a pretty good. Dalton has those lows. He has the big highs, the big lows, because a play like that can happen and cost him the game. But he throws for how many yards? And it's not just like it's just not like a garbage time throw for that many yards. Like, he played a pretty good game. He was moving around the pocket. The Bengals offensive line was playing pretty solid right off the bat, which I was surprised. I thought this might be the worst offensive line in football besides the Dolphins, because how many guys were out. But they started off okay, but then it started going. But Dalton was moving around the pocket pretty darn good. That last play of the game, I didn't think was a fumble, but I don't think it really mattered that much. Looked like he threw a spiral forward to me, but 7 seconds, and there was no time left. Bengals receivers surprisingly stepped up, too. Without A.J. Green, he got really good receiver. John Ross, there we go. He needed a number change. That's what he needed. He had a pretty darn good game. A couple bombs. They used him underneath. That's what John Ross is supposed to be used for. I like that. I thought Dalton threw the ball pretty darn well. It's that one play. What else can I say about this game? I thought the Bengals pass rush was pretty solid. Seahawks offensive line got a lot better out of nowhere last year. Thought it could continue to be like that. It still can continue to still be like that. It's only 1 week, but didn't think they played too good. But the Bengals pass rush and blitzes, I should say, they were blitzing defensive backs. Thought that was pretty good, pretty solid. Corners downfield could have played a little better. They were letting DK Metcalf. I guess they were staying with them. It's a hard guy to cover when the ball's up in the air. DK had a pretty good game. Unfortunately, Joe Mixon got hurt too. Maybe that could have been the side. There's multiple different reasons why I think the Seahawks are the better team. I picked them to win. I picked them to do very good this year, go far. The Bengals should have won this game. I thought the Bengals outplayed the Seahawks, to be quite honest with you. It's unfortunate. The Bengals usually start off good too, so what kind of Bengals are we going to continue to get going forward? In terms of the Seahawks, I thought Chris Carson was good. I thought they do try to run the ball a little too much in crucial situations. Saw that last year. Kind of worked out for them at times. Let Russell Wilson throw a little more. Tyler Lockett didn't even get a target till late. He had a drop ball that was terrible. That was a terrible drop ball. I was tweeting about that one too. It's a ball you catch in stride. Every receiver knows that. And, he's going to know that. Even if he let this happen. He jumped for a ball that you should not jump for a ball on. And he tried to catch it. And it bounced right off his chest and out. Just so many different things wrong. Like, that's something not only a single NFL receiver should let happen. We're talking about Tyler Lockett here. So I was surprised to see that. Not a lot of targets, but I guess they didn't really need to target him. DK Metcalf was very impressive. There was that throw. It was like the last 40 seconds in the third quarter. Russell Wilson moved up in the pocket, and everyone knows what I'm talking about if you saw the game, and just dumped it perfect to DK Metcalf. I think the reason Russell Wilson had to do all that was, not to say I got to say something bad about DK Metcalf, even though he had a great game, great first game. Love the hands, love his ability. He got some separation, got open, but he I think it was a slant and go. It was slanting, and he took a while to get out of that break and get up. That was like the one weakness for DK Metcalf. He took a little bit to get out of that break. There was a lot of traffic, though, and if he can get out of that break faster, Russell Wilson doesn't have to make it. It's fun seeing Russell Wilson do that, make an elite throw, but it doesn't have to be that hard of a throw. But I'm not trying to put any blame on him there. It was a great game from DK Metcalf. Really stepped up, and they need him to because they got to. Moore's hurts. They don't have Doug Baldwin anymore. Lockett really wasn't showing up. interesting. Defensively, Quentin Jefferson was one of the standouts of the day. Quentin Jefferson was all over the place. I don't think I even saw his stats. I just, in terms of just watching and the impact that he made, Quentin Jefferson was all over the place. They always have these defensive linemen that just step up. Like, who they are, their names, but they're not supposed to be anything special, and Puna Ford too. And they don't even have Jarran Reed. Jarran Reed, I love Jarran Reed. He's not even back yet, going to be 6 games out, so hopefully they'll be okay without him. I thought they were fortunate Joe Mixon got knocked out of the game. They were doing pretty good against him. But Quentin Jefferson really stood out to me. Another thing I was tweeting about, the long throw to John Ross. Shouldn't have been complete. Tedrick Thompson had a very bad play on the ball there. I was kind of backpedaling for it. You turn and run, and then made a really bad play on the ball. But the bad play on the ball was mainly because of the position he put himself in. So the Seahawks, good news is they didn't play anywhere near their best ball, and they still won. The bad news is I really think the Bengals should have won this game, but win's a win. It's week 1. Moving on. The Giants and the Cowboys, this was my straight-up lock of the week. I feel pretty good about it. It was a pretty obvious one, though. I don't have much to say about this one. Dak Prescott played a really good game. He played a very poor Giants secondary. Everyone's like, the Giants secondary is so terrible. I mean, it's something we should have known already. Too many young guys in there. There's not much to say about this one. They let the Giants get up early. I wasn't really worried. They went out and executed then. I liked them for that. Amari Cooper was great. Michael Gallup's a great young receiver. Credit to those receivers. Jason Witten, got to see him play very well. Like I said, Dak played very well. Zeke, they could use Zeke a little more too, and they still scored 35 points. Zeke was fine. Defense was good. DeMarcus Lawrence was great. Jalen Smith, I liked this game, of course. Jordan Lewis had a couple good plays. He had a really good breakup on the goal line. Those slants in traffic are very hard to guard. That play stands, just one simple play. It stands out a lot to me, though. Not much to say about this one. Barkley was great. I guess some receivers step up for the Giants that you don't expect to step up, like Benny Fowler steps up and, executes. But that's really all I got for this game. The MVP of this game, though, I think goes to the Cowboys' offensive line. That offensive line was just fantastic. The whole unit, just fantastic. Kellen Moore, very well called, play called game. That didn't make any sense, but we're going to roll with it. Play action. What a concept. Play action for the Cowboys. But if you were watching this game, there were just the cameras on Kellen Moore, and just it's a little annoying, but he does deserve credit there. Just like Antonio Brown. We're talking about Antonio Brown just nonstop. So, but good game for the Cowboys. They should win that game like that, though. Next game, Lions and Cardinals. It had to be a tie. Through first half of this game, I was tweeting about it a little bit too. Probably the team I was most impressed with was going to be the Lions. It was going to be the Lions. Why? Their offense was executing the other, playing the Cardinals defense. They were using the rookie tight end TJ Hawkins, and I was high on him, and I've been saying I'm high on him for season 1. I know he's a rookie, and I know he's a tight end. This guy's legit. And what I kept saying every time I brought up the Lions is they want to use the tight end. They showed us that last year. They forced the tight ends when they shouldn't have, and it's going to work out all year, even though they're playing the Cardinals defense. So that was very impressive. TJ Hawkins was very impressive. Kenny Golladay was very impressive. Kerryon Johnson was solid. Stafford could be a little better, but solid at times. He was able to move. He was able to run. I like that. But mainly this defense. Oh, my God, was I excited about this defense. I'm a Vikings fan. I was excited about the Lions defense. The looks they were giving, I was like, I predicted going into this game that Devon Kennard was going to be a factor. I thought he'd be a factor on the blitz. They were making him into a pass rusher, like an actual pass rusher, not like a blitzing pass. Like, he was on the end. So many different guys coming in, pass rushing. So many guys blitzing from different angles. They're not a 3-4 or a 4-3, which we kind of knew that, but they're really not. They're a new defense. This is a Matt Patricia, unique, very fun defense. And they got playmakers. They got Darius Slay. Tracy Walker's a fun young playmaker. I thought Justin Coleman had a pretty good game. All this I'm saying applies to like early in the game though, first half. Then it really looked like the defense wore out. It really looked like they wore out down the line. Even the guys in the secondary, they wore out a little bit. Kennard, he's got 3 sacks in the year, so he had a very good game. So I was really excited about this Lions team. I still kind of am, the uniqueness. But they got to put the games away. They got to execute. I think they got a little conservative, and the defense wore out a little bit. The pass rush wore out. They really weren't that unique down the line either. It kind of went back to a basic defense, almost like a 4-3. So a lot of things happen here, and I guess that's not a team that you want. It's a team that can come back, too. It's a team that can definitely come back, the Cardinals. with their unique offense. And Kyler Murray, he was good down the stretch. David Johnson was good down the stretch, catching the ball. Larry Fitzgerald was good. Christian Kirk was good. I mean, Bird was good too. So great comeback for the Cardinals. At this point of the game, like, the Cardinals are going to win the game. Like, okay, no, the Lions are going to win the game. Now the Cardinals are going to win the game. No, the Lions are going to. It was kind of back and forth, and nobody won the game. It was a tie game. If Brock catches that interception that Stafford, I don't know what he was thinking, just gave right to him, then the Cardinals win the game. But nope, back and forth, it ends up being a tie, so, and Darrell Bevell with that random timeout call that nobody on the planet knew he was calling but himself, so classic Darrell Bevell. I'm surprised the guy keeps getting job. I guess he did get to the Super Bowl with the Seahawks. I wouldn't say because of him, but then, he had his rough go for some teams. So Lions should have put this game away. That's a tough one. That's a tough one because they looked so good early. Credit to the Cardinals, Kingsbury and Kyler Murray. That offense, like I credited already, them coming. The offensive line stepped up down the line too. The offensive line was surprisingly good down the stretch. Next game, Niners and Bucks. This was all game. I'm like, this is a slop. This is a mess. Both teams, it's a mess. Niners scored 31 points. They were able to read plays on defense, be playmakers, pick up some plays. Quan Alexander was out pretty early with a stupid decision on his part, hitting Jameis Winston, his former teammate. So all of that, I guess, is a good thing for the Niners, but I thought they were messy too. Weird was George Kittle had 2 touchdowns taken back, and Cameron Brate, tight ends from both sides, 2 touchdowns taken back, so that was odd. So a little more offense could have happened. The game could have been a lot different, but it was 2-2. But I really wasn't impressed with either team. I for sure wasn't impressed with either team on this game. I guess, like I said, credit to the Niners defense for adjusting the plays, reading plays, making plays, being playmakers. 2 pick sixes, obviously positive things. It was more like the Bucs beat themselves in this game. The Niners are the better team, no doubt, but the Bucs beat themselves. Winston, the first pick, I don't know if it was really his fault, but then he had a pick six and a pick six to lose the game. How many points is that with the extra point? That's 14. How much did they win by? 14. So, you can't let that happen. If you follow us on Twitter, I was saying, first glance at that last pick six, I thought it was about the worst pick six you possibly can have from a quarterback, and it's still Winston's fault. It's still terrible. But if you look at the replay, the running back was actually supposed to be there. Winston, I still hate when quarterbacks throw it when a guy's supposed to be there. If he's not there, don't throw it. But so I still blame him, but he expected the running back to be there, and he was actually close to being there. But I think it was Ryan Jensen, the center of the Bucs, came out of nowhere and blindsided the running back, and I just don't get the reasoning for it. It was just sloppy play from the Bucs, a little bit of sloppy play from the Niners. Garoppolo's got to be better. He threw that pick as well, and his footwork was a little off. He was the better quarterback in this game, but I wish maybe knocking the rust off a little bit. He needs to be better though. I thought a little sloppy in the footwork, but good execution. Yeah, you like to see Richard Sherman, the 2 corners, Richard Sherman and Ahkello Witherspoon, big time playmakers back there. Gotta love that. And those are the kind of guys known as being like lockdown corners too, and they're able to be playmakers. So I guess the good news, like, they can involve Kittle a little more. He kind of was involved, but I got called back. So the Niners, I think, have more on offense. That's the good thing. Garoppolo can play better. They have some more. Coleman came out of this game. Fortunate McKinnon can't be there. It's very unfortunate. I think they got more. So that's the good thing. They got some playmaking ability on defense. The Bucs, disaster. I don't know if I have anything good to say about the Bucs, really. I know that's sad, but Devin White, I saw like good moments and then really bad moments, poor tackling decisions. I really can't say anything good about the Bucs in this one. They usually start off the year good too, even when I know it's gonna be a bad year. So, I guess I thought Ndamukong Suh was pretty solid. I guess that's really the only thing. I thought he was pretty solid. The Niners are going to face some tougher opponents, though, so hopefully Garoppolo can continue to improve. And we got the last game, the Steelers-Patriots, super disappointing, 33-3. I thought this game would be a shootout. How do you only score 3 points? I don't know how you only score 3 points. Credit to the Patriots. Stephon Gilmore still looks like he's the best corner in football, right where he left off. Receiver unit. I told everybody about this receiver unit. Now they added Antonio Brown. I got ripped when I said the Patriots are the best receiver unit. It should have been the Falcons, but look the difference of the 2 teams in this game. I guess they played a little different secondaries, but the Steelers secondary was bad. They were bad in this one. I think Sean Davis was out. Joe Hayden got hurt, but getting beat too easy. That's the thing. It's a good pass rush, but it was almost non-existent. Your TJ Watt showed up at times, but it's non-existent because the Patriots, that's how good they are. No matter who is at offensive line, no matter who's out, Trent Brown's gone. Andrews is out. No, Isaiah Wynn was hurt last year. He started. No matter who's in there, they are a really good protection team. They can block, and it's crazy. Credit goes to the coaching. Brady making adjustments. Brady threw the ball very well. Philip Dorsett was a standout. Josh Gordon was fun. They don't even have Antonio Brown. They don't have N'Keal Harry, who was my number one receiver in the draft class. It's wild. Credit to the offensive line. I think this can be a darn good running team. They run the ball good, but they didn't run it all that well. They didn't have to use Sony Michel as much as they can use him much more during the year. They didn't even have to because this was just such an ass beating. Defensively, I don't predict them to have a whole bunch of pressure, quarterback pressure this year. They didn't really have too much in that game. Looking at Big Ben, which I get to in a little bit, it looked like he got sacked about 10 times the way he was acting, which I absolutely hated. But credit to the secondary of the Patriots there. Game plan, it's the same old stuff, but just complete execution, domination. But yeah, Big Ben was playing like his footwork and the way he was acting he was playing like he was about to get killed every time when he had time. So was very confused about that one. Some of his throws I was confused about. Overthrew, it was late in the game when the game was over, but overthrew James Washington. It's a hard guy to overthrow. Just kind of made it a punt return for the defensive back. Maybe it's just get the week one out of the way. I'm not too worried about the Steelers down the stretch. I think they have a pretty favorable schedule, especially really down the stretch. I think they'll figure it out, but they were running outside a little too much with James Conner too. James Conner can play, but a little bit too much outside runs. And then they were using Jalen Samuels. They were trying to get fancy with Jalen Samuels a little bit, using him a little too much. I think he's a football player. I still don't know if he's just like a true running back, and the ways they're using him, I don't know. I just really agree with a lot the Steelers did. They were not prepared for this game. Nobody played well at all. It was a disappointing game. I think it was the worst game of the day, and I thought it was going to be the best game of the day. So just disappointing in general. But yeah, I think that's all I got for this. I probably missed on some key points, but these videos go long enough. Any of the key points, I probably talked about on Twitter during the game. I talk a lot about the games on Twitter, so join us there. You can join our Discord for more of that too, more action, more talk from amongst quite a few of us. So click that Patreon link in the description for that. Plenty more videos for the NFL coming throughout the week. We got you covered for week 2. Cannot wait. More football tonight. Can't wait. Thanks everyone for watching. Please subscribe. That's gonna do it. Goodbye.